and welcome to Logan Sounds Off, where I talk about books, music, and a whole lot more. I'm your host, Logan Kelly. Hello and welcome back to Logan Sounds Off. Today on my podcast, I'm going to be doing another album review, and today's album review is Ash Nuclear Sounds. So the first thing that I want to tell you about this album is that obviously it was released a little while ago in the 90s, so actually a long time ago. But it was actually remastered recently this year 2023, so I have that on vinyl. That's the copy that I have. There's 11 tracks on this album, and the record label for this is BMG and the Echo Label Limited. So I'm going to start off with side A, and the first song on side A is called Projects, and the harsh guitars and the sharp sound really illuminate and start off this LP in a perfect way. I quite like Projects, and I actually only put up a post there of me with a phone going over the album. It's a green splatter vinyl and it looks very nice, but that song was what was playing, and I think it was a very interesting point to look at the album from, because it's a very odd, unique song, and I certainly didn't anticipate a song like this when I started listening to the album. So it really hit me and it struck a chord with me because of this reason. I wasn't expecting it. It had some weird kind of turns. It had a different effect that I wasn't familiar with regarding Ash, and it was incredible. I really, really liked it, and I loved the way it was produced as well. It was produced perfectly, and I actually haven't listened to the original master, so for me listening to the 2023 remaster, I now have a totally different outlook on an album that could have changed because of these different mixes. So I quite like this particular mix anyways of Projects. Then you've got Low Ebb, and before I get into that, I just have to say, I have no clue what Low Ebb means. I don't know really where the name came from, so I think it could be an interesting name to research, so I might look into that in the future. But apart from that, I'm going to focus on the music. And this song, even with its bounding drums, and I'm going to focus in on this before I get to the rest. When I say by bounding, I mean it's kind of, imagine a horse jumping on a hurdle. I feel like that's what the drums are like, the way they're playing. They're very, it's hard to explain, but that's the way I feel about it. If you understand what I mean and you listen to the song, that's great, because that's the point that I'm trying to get across. And the overdriven guitars on this as well, I love. So first of all, I love guitar. In the background there's a bass guitar. That's my dad's, an electric guitar and an acoustic guitar, which are both mine. And I've been playing guitar for 2 years. The reason why I was inspired to play guitar was because the different things you can do with it. And one of the things that I loved when I got an electric guitar and I had an amp and I had it ready was putting it on overdrive. So I've always loved overdriven guitars. So this is a really cool track. And also, as well as it being overdriven and heavy, it was also kind of relaxed in a way as well. It had kind of a dual tone quality to it, which I really, really liked. I love the texture of this track. And to be honest, I love a record that can have multiple different feelings at once, because, like, let's be honest, it's really hard to find a track like that where it has so many different effects and it has so much quality to it, that it has a different tone. I really like that. So I just wanted to focus in on that, especially on Low Ebb, because that was a really stunning track. Then, moving on, you have Jesus Says. And this song, like, I love both the riff, and that's one thing that I really love. And I know a lot of musicians, like, I think now, especially at the moment, listening to music, I think it's the riff that gets a lot of people. And also the cool as hell vocals. I mean, this track with the riff and the vocals, Jesus Says, is an incredible track. And, like, look, we're on the third track throughout the album, and you can imagine me at the moment on the third track of a record and loving the tone. And they're very different tracks, but Jesus Says is a very unique song and has a very cool texture to it, and has a very it's perfect. It's perfect. But then you've got Wild Surf, and this track is very catchy, and I know I love catchy songs unless they get stuck in my head. But this track was very catchy, and it plays over and over in your head, and to be honest, I just loved it. I don't really hear that many catch tunes. I find it hard to catch tune, but when I do catch tune, I really love it. And then you got Death Trip 21, and the samples and effects used in this really give it a kind of death trippy feel. But I love it. No, I really, really like it. It's really cool. And then you got Folk Song, which is moving on, I believe. Yeah, that's moving on to... No, I'm actually not sure. No, that is a really cool track though. That's the first song on side 2. Folk Song. This is a nice relaxed song, and my favourite thing about it is its swelling synths and other guitars. So I really like the guitars in this record, and you've heard me mention the guitars a lot, but to be honest, I just love them. And then you got Numbskull, and I love the guitars in this. This is very hardcore, and it's definitely a favourite of mine, in my opinion. I really like it. And then you got Burnout, and this is a really cool rocky song that is it's brilliant. And I know Ash is rock, but sometimes they can have a really different feel, and I think this was a really rock song. I love the guitars and the scratches nearly. It has a scratchy sound. And then I'm going to skip a couple of songs to the last song because this is the most important, because it finishes the album perfectly. I love Ash's Nuclear Sounds, and I love listening to it. And thank you so much, Gilded ALM, for sending this to me. The album is lovely. As I mentioned earlier, I got it in a green splatter vinyl. I'm opening it up now for anybody who's listening on the podcast. And it's really, really nice. It's a lovely, lovely colour. And I'm just really happy with it. In general, though, I love Ash's album Nuclear Sounds. And I love the new remaster. Make sure to like, share and subscribe to Logan Sounds Off. Share with your friends and like just for the support. It's free and it really helps out. I really appreciate all your support, guys. And I know I've gained a ton of subscribers recently. So thank you so much for that. And make sure to check out my next couple of videos and my past ones too if you're new to the channel. Thanks, guys. Bye. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Logan Sounds Off. You can follow me on X, Facebook and Instagram at Logan Sounds Off. And don't forget to subscribe and not miss any more cool episodes. Bye guys!